Whenever you guys are ready.
Whenever we're ready.
Want me to give you a countdown?
And if we make a mistake, we can just make the mistake and start over from wherever it's at, and we can edit it out, right?
Right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon and welcome to the video version of Texas Biker Radio. My name is Mel Moss and my co-host Mel Robbins. We're both with the Texas, and I've already goofed it up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. You need
We're
a minute?
both with the Texas U.S. Defenders. Is that right?
No.
Shit. Help me get that out.
Let's see, what do you, you want to,
Texas U.S. Defenders. What is the name right there? Legislative Task Force.
yeah,
All right.
strike force or task force? Both.
You
Either.
said strike force last time. It's supposed to be
Yeah, I think it's
task
strike.
force. Let me Google it real quick. Because you were kicking yourself for doing it wrong last time. Is it online?
Well, actually, there's both.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a legislative strike force and a task force.
Legislative Strike Force.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Well, we're rolling, so you guys, keep going.
Okay. My name is Mel Moss, and I'm with my co-host, My name is Mel Moss, and I'm with my co-host, Mel Robbins. We're both with the Texas...
The outtakes will be priceless.
Really?
Well, the cough drops even clearer than
Okay.
the voice.
My name is Mel Moss, and I'm with my co-host, Mel Robbins. We're both with the U.S. Defenders, Texas Legislative Strike Force, and we are going to talk today about why is it important that bikers get involved politically. And we're both also with the Sons of Liberty Riders RC, and we are a politically connected motorcycle club that, and I got that wrong too. God dang it.
Well, just keep going. No, don't start all over. We'll flash an image up there and edit it in.
Okay, after Legislative Strike Force, we'll just start out. Okay. Today we're here to talk about reasons that motorcyclists should be involved politically and become a powerhouse on the political scene. The numbers are there for us to do it. The structure is there for us to do it through U.S. Defenders. And we're going to give you today some reasons to get involved. Bikers, motorcyclists, whatever terms you want to use for us, we're the last free spirits in America. We're the riders of the iron horses and masters of the open road. As we all know, the federal government is out of control. Our federal, state, and local governments are larger than they've ever been in history. Their main objective is to grow and have control over every aspect of our lives. For the government to maintain and continue to grow, they must find ways to tax us, because government makes nothing of value. It makes no products. What they do is spend, and it's both parties, all of them involved. What they do is they're spending this into oblivion. You know, it wasn't long ago that the president said he must have a civilian army as strong as our armed forces. And you know what? He's got them. They're called Homeland Security, the TSA, the ATF, the DEA, the IRS, the EPA, the Department of Energy, the NEA, and the National Park Service, and they all have their own police forces, including SWAT teams. And we're talking about the National Education Agency. What do they need a SWAT team for? But the worst of all these agencies are nameless, faceless bureaucrats, by the tens of thousands of them. Their job is to make rules and regulations. You see, they have to justify their jobs. And they are probably the worst. Let me see it this way. These folks are the most dangerous to our ways of life and the things we love as bikers. And Mel, you want to make some comments out of what I just said?
Sure. What you said about bikers is true. They're all freedom-loving, non-political animals, basically, and independent by nature. That's what a biker is. However, a lot of you bikers out there are veterans. That's how the motorcycle clubs got started. And lest we not forget how you became a veteran, it was all about freedom. You know, it's all about freedom. Veterans, motorcycle clubs, everything. And freedom's not free. It doesn't come free by nature, just by the virtue of human nature. There are always people out there that want to control, they want to be in control, they want to tell you what to do, they want to tell us what they think is best for us. And this price that we pay for freedom, or the prices that have been paid in the past, it's an ongoing process. Nobody ever said, hey, this account is paid in full. It's, you got to keep paying. There are dues to be paid day after day. And it's attained only through constant involvement in issues, vigilance, and sacrifice. That sacrifice has been paid in blood through the ages by those patriots who understood what freedom's all about. And were willing to pay through revolutions and wars. You know, our Constitution, begins with "we the people." And that's what the premise of our country is built on. In order for our freedoms to continue, not only for us, but for our children, loved ones, and friends, we have to stay involved. We have to be engaged. The problem is that because we as bikers are so freedom-loving, we're almost to the point of being antisocial. We think we can sit back, take a free pass, but the problem is, while we're doing this, things are happening. And I'll use the analogy, and Mel's heard me say this many times, they talk about the analogy of the frog in the beaker in the biology class. If you take a frog, meaning you and me, put us in a beaker of lukewarm water, and slide that over on a Bunsen burner, we're going to sit there just happy as hell as a frog, and the water's going to keep getting warmer, and we're not going to notice it. And pretty soon it's going to boil, and we're going to be dead. Now is the time for all bikers to sit back and think about, especially you older guys, think about everything you were able to do as a child. Hell, I can remember throwing a pellet rifle on the back of my bicycle and a sleeping bag and heading out for the hills in San Francisco. Doing a little hunting, spend the night with my buddies, and I'm talking, I was like 10, 11 years old. Never a problem. Nobody had to worry about that stuff. How many of you would want to send your kid out today in this environment that we're living in, this cesspool, to do the same thing? We're sitting there and we're boiling to death because nobody is getting involved. Getting involved is really simple, guys, really simple. We know there's at least 200,000 of you out there here in Texas, and we know that because there are over 400,000 motorcycles registered. If we were to say everyone owns at least 2 motorcycles, and we know that's not necessarily true, that cuts it to 200,000. According to the driver's licenses, there's far less than that in the state. However, we know most of you don't have a motorcycle endorsement. Which brings up another point, you know, and I hate it when I hear it, but people say to ride or drive is a privilege. BS. That is my God-given right, and it is your God-given right, and don't let anyone ever tell you it's a privilege, because it's not. It's your right. But they make it into a privilege, and we allow them to say that, and we shouldn't. I won't get into my beliefs in licensing and things like that, because we could go on and on for that for hours. But the issue is we know there's at least 200 motorcyclists out there, probably closer to 300,000. We need the numbers. Nothing scares politicians more than numbers. And getting involved is as simple as just showing up. Be another body. You know, we've got Legislative Day coming. Mel,
Yes, we do.
on January 25th and 26th. Well, the 25th, we're all going to arrive and, I guess, party a little bit.
That's right.
And then Monday morning on the 26th, we're going to meet over at the Capitol. There'll be some speakers on the steps and things like that. But the massive numbers, if we can get a few thousand of you down to Austin, and those politicians see a few thousand bikers standing out there in vests, they're going to see doctors, lawyers, they're going to see hardcore riders. They'll see a lot of different people, but they're going to see big numbers, and that scares the hell out of a politician.
You know, Mel, here recently I was made a U.S. Defenders Commander, Region 2, and you know, as a person that's been involved in politics at least the last 13 years, since 2001, let me tell you guys, one of the best things I've learned is we're not to waste time. Because we floundered around out there quite a while before we learned how to win races, before we learned how to knock a politician out of office. There are ones you can deal with, there are ones you can't deal with, and there are for certain reasons for that, and that's all about numbers. These congressmen and senators at the federal level, we can't do anything with them, and they know it. The chances of knocking them out of office or persuading them one way or the other, besides what they or their party's thinking, it's just not there to do. We don't have the numbers. It's all a numbers game. But where we can have the most effect, and Ted Cruz has told us this, the battle is in the State House. Those guys win by narrower margins. Their districts aren't as big. We can take it to the House. And we need your help to do it. And that's one reason we need you there on Legislative Day down there at the State Capitol on the 26th. You know, the flyers that we'll be getting over the next couple of days, those needs to be in every motorcycle shop across Texas. And you know, I get out and I talk to as many bikers as I can about it in the time I have. And of course, I spent the day down at the Capitol building on opening day, meeting as many people and doing everything I could to make sure that those legislators know about our two bills that are coming at them. That U.S. Defenders has two bills that they're going to introduce to the state legislature this year. One of them is the red light bill, and the other one is the motorcycle safety funding bill. Now, we've got sponsors for both bills. We'll be talking to those committees as soon as they're formed. The committees still haven't formed yet. We'll be talking to people on those committees. But you know what? We need every one of you going down to the Capitol building and meeting with your state representative. It's imperative that everybody know who their state representative is. It's imperative that you get involved because, Mel, let me say this. We're getting messages from our European friends, our European bikers, that